So let's quickly explain this. We have a screenshot of a patient who's on the ventilator with ABV-CMV mode, which is pressure regulated volume control. The rate is 18, meaning that every 3.3 seconds there is a breath, mandatory breath, if the patient does not initiate the inspiratory effort. And each time the ventilator is triggered, it's going to target 340, but the patient, of course, can actually breathe along with the ventilator. He can get larger target volume. So we have 6 breaths here. Let's explain one by one. We see the end of the inspiration of the first one here. Pressure goes down, inspiratory flow goes down, and we have a tidal volume of 400. Inspiratory effort by the patient, the pressure goes down from 10, which is the PEEP, all the way down to -2. So this is huge inspiratory effort by the patient, resulted into triggering the ventilator before expiration. So we don't have expiratory flow here, and we see the volume goes down to 0. This is not expiration, this is recalibration of the machine. The volume goes down to 0 before the next breath once the ventilator is triggered. So now the ventilator is triggered. The pressure delivered should be less than the pressure that was used in the previous breath, because we have a larger tidal volume than the targeted tidal volume of 340. I don't think it was lower here, but let's just go forward. So this breath resulted into inspiratory flow, and of course the patient still breathing. He ended up getting 800 ml of tidal volume. So huge inspiratory effort by the patient. If the machine was only delivering this, it would have been given only 340. So the patient is actually responsible for the majority of this tidal volume. So now what we have in the lung is 400 plus 800, that's total of 1200 ml. Now expiration starts here, expiratory flow, we see it, tidal volume goes down to, gradually down to 0. At this point here, we see that it is halted at 0. If you go up, you will see that there is some inspiratory flow here, but 0 flow here. And this is correlating with machine delivered breath. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 3.3 seconds. So there's mandatory breath here. So machine gave the breath with the pressure lower than the previous pressure because the tidal volume was larger than 340, so the pressure will be regulated gradually down. However, this breath did not result in any tidal volume, no inspiratory flow. So the patient was obstructing this mandatory breath. Now notice what happened after this breath is ended. Patient continued to exhale. So actually we have 1200 ml here, he exhaled 800 here, and now he continued to exhale. It goes down. If you continue this, of course you don't see it on the screen, but it should have been actually gone down to -400, where we can exhale all the tidal volume. However, what happened here, there's another straight line indicating that there is a recalibration, and that means that expiration ended, next breath started, and that is another 3.3 seconds. So we have another mandatory breath. Again, the patient obstructed that breath. There is pressure, there's no inspiratory flow here, there's no inspiratory tidal volume. And you can see at the end of this, patient continued to exhale here. So he probably exhaled the 1200 that he inhaled in these 2 breaths here. Now what happened next, he triggered the ventilator. There's inspiratory effort here. The machine was triggered. Of course, the pressure is going to be higher than the previous pressure. Why? Because this pressure did not result in any tidal volume. So the machine will regulate that pressure gradually up. So this pressure resulted into inspiratory flow, and it is huge inspiratory flow, resulted into tidal volume of 800. So that's higher than 340, indicating that this is mainly done by the patient. And then this breath ended here, the pressure is released. We're supposed to see expiratory flow here, but we don't see it. And then the patient triggered the ventilator again. So there's a possibility the patient continued his inspiratory effort here. Inspiratory time finished here, so that's why we released the pressure, but the patient's inspiratory effort did not end yet. and he triggered the ventilator one more time, resulted into this pressure, that resulted into this inspiratory flow, and that resulted into this tidal volume. So what we have here is double triggered breath. It's only one inspiratory effort by the patient and two mechanically delivered breath with the same tidal, with the same pressure that was used in the previous in these two breaths here. So this again, we have 12, almost 1200 ml inside the chest, and now with expiration you're going to start exhaling gradually and getting out another 1200 ml, similar to what happened in the first two breaths here. So I hope this explains it. Now there's a small possibility that this is a reverse triggering, but without doing maneuver and the ventilator, it would be difficult to eliminate this possibility. So thank you very much for your listening. Hope to see you in a next snapshot of ventilator screen. Thank you.